What up? What up? This is DB talking now. DB talking birds. DB talking Philadelphia Eagles. Happy Thursday, everyone. Sorry, I am getting on with you guys live later in the week than I usually do. Had a bit of an injury this past week, but I'm glad to be back on here. There's a few things I want to talk about. Welcome to the Time to Talk segment, episode 1. Basically, the Time to Talk segment is going to be where we're going to deep dive into the Philadelphia Eagles and talk about some deeper issues, things that could possibly be going on, things that we kind of need to talk about, see, and address. And let's but first off, let's just start here. Obviously, it's Thursday night. There's a game going on. Seattle Seahawks versus the Los Angeles Rams. Right now, the Los Angeles Rams are in fact beating the Seattle Seahawks, and the score is 16-14. Seattle did just, in fact, score, so that's good for them to keep it close. It's a close game so far tonight, and it's an important game. It's an important game for the Los Angeles Rams because they got blown out by the Arizona Cardinals last weekend. So. But let's go ahead and talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. One, because I have not been with you guys since before the game against Kansas City, Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to go ahead and recap that real quick. I thought Jalen Hurts played really well. I thought Jalen Hurts had a great game against the Kansas City Chiefs, outside of two throws where the first one looked like it was going to be an interception. The defensive back for the Chiefs didn't get there in time. And then obviously the one on the very first offensive drive for the Philadelphia Eagles where he overthrew Zach Ertz. And it would have been an easy touchdown. Some people are blaming, Jalen Hurts for the Greg Ward, incompletion in the end zone. And while it was, here's what I have to say about this. It wasn't just one way or the other. It was both their faults. It was the fault of both Greg Ward and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts could have thrown a better ball, and Greg Ward had both hands on it. He could have brought it in. So either way, that's how I look at that one. The Eagles were 3 for 6 in the red zone. And anytime that you're going up against a team like the Kansas City Chiefs with the firepower that they have, you got to make sure that you score touchdowns every time that you are in the red zone. Tyreek Hill obviously went off on the Eagles defense this past week, and again, an opposing offense gashed the Eagles defense on the ground, and we're gonna on the ground in the run game, and we're gonna go ahead and get into that in a little bit. But first things first, let's talk about the defense. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles defense as a whole. What's wrong with the Philadelphia Eagles defense? Well, they're horrible against the run. They don't have they're not stopping the run. Fletcher Cox is not having his best season. There's reasons for why Fletcher Cox is not having his best season. A lot of people want to come out and say it's either black or white, and it's not. It's not. They're asking Fletcher Cox to do things that Fletcher Cox hasn't done before. Each one of these players is playing in a new scheme. So, so you look at a guy like Javon Hargrave. Yeah, Javon Hargrave is getting sacks, but it's pushing him away from stopping the run. And Fletcher Cox, they're playing him inside and outside, as we know, and they're playing 3-4 and 4-3 fronts. Here's the thing I have about this, and this is where we're going to get back to the linebackers. The Eagles do sometimes play a 3-4 front, and we don't have the linebackers to cover up the run in that defensive line alignment. We just don't. We don't even have the linebackers to play the run in a 4-3 alignment very well. So I mean, Alex Singleton and Eric Wilson, they've done a good job sideline to sideline, but they're not gonna get up in there in the trenches, and they're not gonna shut the run down. And it was a big mystery as to why the Philadelphia Eagles kept 7 linebackers. Well, they kept 7 linebackers, and I was thinking about this the other night. They kept 7 linebackers because, one, if one goes down, if a linebacker goes down, they need to be able to, replace that injured linebacker with another linebacker. Talks Falcons, what's up? What's up, my man? Welcome to the chat. The other thing is this. They have TJ Edwards and they have Sean Bradley. Those guys are better against the run. Then they have Alex Singleton and they have Eric Wilson. Those guys are not as good against the run. So they kept 7 linebackers for the different defensive line alignments, the 3-4 or the 4-3. However, none of them can plug a 3-4 defensive line. None of them can do it. And here's the thing. Here's the biggest issue that I have. Right? Here's the biggest issue that I have. The biggest issue that I have is it has been publicly stated that, when they want to stop the run, they're probably most likely going to bring in Sean Bradley or TJ Edwards. Well, what does that say? What does that say to opposing offenses? Okay, so if those guys are in the game, then the Eagles are looking to stop the run. There's a lot of shit that doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And so, of course, the offense is going to check to a passing play if they see Sean Bradley or TJ Edwards in the game, because that's an easy call. Why would you come out and why would you be open about that type of information? And the Cowboys, obviously, I got to jump to this. If we're talking about the linebackers, I got to jump to this. The Cowboys recently released Jalen Smith, signed his deal with the Green Bay Packers. Was I excited when I heard that they released him? Yeah, I was excited when I heard that they released him, because Jalen Smith is an upgrade over any single one of our linebackers. But was he going to turn the entire defense around? No, probably not. He wasn't going to turn the entire defense around, but he probably would have done better against the run. So it's hard to put a pulse or get a pulse of what exactly is going wrong. There's a lot of things that we can say that's going wrong. They can't stop the run. They're not putting a safety in the box when they need to. Jonathan Gannon sucks. We could always jump to that. The defensive coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, he sucks. We could always jump to that. The issue is that he's also having his players line up at places that they haven't played before. So how is that possibly going to work? Yeah, so of course Fletcher Cox is getting double teamed. And he's getting double teamed by bigger guys. Fletcher Cox is getting double teamed by bigger guys, and the reason why is because in the 3-4 they're lining him up over closer to the tackle, and the tackles and the guards are bigger than the center. And Fletcher Cox is used to lining up closer over to the center. So there's that. But Jonathan Gannon comes out in a press conference and he says that he's not worried about getting Fletch going. Well, you should be worried about getting Fletcher Cox going, because Fletcher Cox is your best player on that defensive line right now, outside of Javon Hargrave. Statistically, it's Javon Hargrave. Talent and upside, it's Fletcher Cox. And with Brandon Graham going down, they have not found a solution. Brandon Graham going down was a huge, huge blow. So teams are running all over us on that side specifically. At will, honestly. It doesn't even matter about that side. But, they're They're just doing what they want. And so, if an opposing offense is going to get 5 yards here, 5 yards there, 5 yards here, 5 yards there, and getting first down, one after the other, it's going to wear your defensive line out. So, and my question is, what the fuck happened to Hassan Ridgeway? You know what I mean? What happened to Hassan Ridgeway? Hassan Ridgeway started off the season really hot. And maybe they're not rotating these guys in enough. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But the one thing I will say this, though, just to cap off my thoughts on that Chiefs-Eagles game last Sunday, is I thought the entire offense had a great bounce back game after the Cowboys debacle, after how the offense looked against the Cowboys on the previous Monday night. Nick Sirianni, I believe, called a really good game. There were a couple bad calls in the red zone, but other than that, the Eagles were able to drive up and down the field pretty much. I mean, look, when you score 30 points in a professional football game, you should expect to win. That should be enough. Look, it is the Kansas City Chiefs. It is Patrick Mahomes. It is Tyreek Hill. It is Andy Reid. You know what I mean? They're gonna outscore you, or they're gonna do everything they can to outscore you. But same thing. The defense needs to come to play. The defense needs to get their shit together. The defense needs to fix whatever is wrong, and there are a lot of things wrong. There's a lot of things wrong. I'm tired of seeing Alex Singleton chase down guys 10 yards down the field, 10 yards into the second level. Tired of it. Absolutely tired of it. Did I like the Eric Wilson interception on Patrick Mahomes? Yes, I did. But it wasn't because it was great coverage. There was pressure in Patrick Mahomes' face. So the Eagles don't have the player personnel. The Eagles don't have the player personnel to run the schemes that Jonathan Gannon wants to run. And honestly, if you think about it, because they run 3-4 and 4-3 and do different things like that, it makes the job harder on Howie Roseman, because honestly, for a 3-4 front, you want bigger defensive linemen. And a 4-3 front, you can have guys like Brandon Graham, undersized, but speed with motors. So it brings us to this question, and I don't mind bringing this question up. I'm going to bring it up. I'm not there yet. But did Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie make the right decision in hiring Jonathan Gannon? That's the question. Did they make the right decision? You could say that. Or you could say that Howie just did a fucking horrible job getting personnel for Jonathan Gannon to run his defense successfully. And why is that? Why did that happen? Is Howie actually not in good communication with his coaches, as he says that he is? Maybe. I'm not here to blame Howie. I'm not ready to do that. Little H, what's up, my man? Welcome to the chat. I've been gone since August, and now I finally come back from the dead. What have I missed out on? Well, a lot. I'm not gonna recap everything, but a lot. Well, glad to have you back. Though, man. Glad to have you back. So, and again, let's get into this again. Again with the penalties, week in, week out, the Eagles cannot correct their penalties. Andre Dillard had 3 penalties, and I believe they were all in one quarter, if I remember correctly. We had 3 touchdowns called back. Devontae Smith last Sunday did what Jalen Reagor did in week 2. He stepped out of bounds, and Jalen Hurts still threw the ball. So we got a touchdown called back. I hate that. Honestly, I've honestly never seen that happen so much. And in fact, I think that's the first time I've seen that happen to a Philadelphia Eagles team in a long, long time. I don't ever remember seeing that. So that's a shame. But another thing that I want to address about the offensive line, Lane Johnson was out. obviously Brandon Brooks was out, and then Isaac Samalu was out, and Jordan Mailata was out. So we pretty much had a whole new offensive line going against this Chiefs team this past Sunday, with the exception of Jason Kelce, obviously, because he's a Warrior, and he never misses a game. And they played pretty well. They played really well, actually, as a matter of fact. Jack Driscoll replaced Lane Johnson. And, Nate Herbig, I believe, and then Landon Dickerson obviously was in there for Brandon Brooks. Jason Kelce was there at center. Nate Herbig replaced Isaac Samalu, and then Andre Dillard at left tackle. I'm not saying Andre Dillard is playing phenomenal, but he's playing better than I expected him to play, and that's actually a good sign. He's playing efficiently, so that's good news. That's really, really good news. And again, on top of offensive line news, Lane Johnson was out of the game for a personal matter. Whatever it is, I hope he's okay. He's also missed his second practice of the week this week, so it doesn't look like he's going to even play in this game against the Carolina Panthers that we have coming up this Sunday either. So we'll have to see. Little H says, fuck school, fuck football, fuck my freshman football team, and fuck the Steelers. All right. Sorry about that, man. Sorry if it's all bringing you so much frustration. I apologize about that. And just a quick update on the Los Angeles Rams and Seattle Seahawks game. The Los Angeles Rams are now winning 23-14. I think they're going to pull out. I think they're going to pull out of this one with the win. But let's talk about let's get back to these linebackers. What is it going to take for Hy Roseman to understand that this is a need? It's an important need. It's an important position on a defense. A really good, talented, cerebral linebacker will inform the defensive line where to line up, and inform them where the adjustments need to be made from the back from their back end. So, and that's important. That's important because that's about adjusting to what they're seeing on the field. Back in the day, there were two defensive field generals. Usually it was at the safety position and the middle linebacker position. And the Eagles haven't had a field general at the middle linebacker position. I guess I can say D'Amico Ryans, but I was gonna say Jeremiah Trotter, but D'Amico Ryans was one of those guys. So, there are linebackers out there the Eagles can go and grab in free agency. I understand why they don't. Like, it's a transition year. Cap, they need to be mindful of the cap, and you're not going to go out and sign older players on a 1-year contract, especially if you don't expect to do anything this season. So is there hope in Philadelphia? Obviously the big question, title of the video. Yeah, there is hope in Philadelphia. I'll tell you why. Because after 4 games, and I'm only saying this, after 4 games, I believe that Jalen Hurts deserves a 3rd season. He deserves another year to be able to show us what he's got. Right now, that's what I'm saying. Devontae Smith is developing nicely. These wide receivers are developing nicely. They're still building chemistry with Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts looks good. Jalen Hurts looks really good. He looked great in the Chiefs game. What they need to do is they need to continue to build on it. Jalen Hurts me. What's up, my man? How you doing? How you doing on this fine Thursday evening? But yeah, as I was saying, there is hope. There is hope in Philadelphia. If Jalen Hurts and these wide receivers and this offense can continue to build on what they did against the Chiefs this past week, Yeah, I think that there's positivity. I think there's optimism to be had. What I'm not optimistic about is the lack of touches from Miles Sanders. Um, that I'm not optimistic about. It almost seems like they're leaning towards getting away from Miles Sanders so they don't have to pay him next year, which would be stupid. And going with Kenny Gainwell, honestly. Um, the truth of the matter is they just they need to get Miles the ball. They got to figure out a way to get Miles the ball. That's the truth. Jalen Hurts says 8-9, and I say we had a successful season. I don't see us going 8-9. I don't see us going 8-9. Not with the defensive personnel that we have. And I was just talking about that before you got on, Jalen. Is we don't have a linebacker on this team that can stop the run. We really don't. TJ Edwards and Sean Bradley are better at it than Alex Singleton and Eric Wilson. But, it's already pretty much Jonathan Gannon and everybody else around the league talking about how bad the defense has been and how bad these linebackers have been against the run, have already come out and said that the Eagles are most likely looking to stop the run when Sean Bradley and TJ Edwards are on the field. Well, if you're coming out and saying that publicly, don't you think that the opposing offense would immediately check to a pass play once they see Sean Bradley and TJ Edwards on the field? Because they'd be like, oh, the Eagles are about to stop the run right now. So, why would you say it? Why would you? They have Fletcher Cox playing out of position. So much so that he's getting fatigued. Everybody wants to freak out about Fletcher Cox's stats, but he's playing a completely different position. At most points throughout the game. They're running a 3-4 defensive line in some packages, and they don't have the defensive linemen to run 3-4. They don't. Jalen Hurts says, I agree, man. I was so optimistic they'll surprise us this year. It seems like all our week one optimism is gone. Yeah, the week one optimism should be gone. Yeah, get that out of your head right now. Get that out of your head right now. I mean, it was the Atlanta Falcons. There is some ounce of me that believes that this is a good matchup for us this week against the Carolina Panthers. But then I saw that Christian McCaffrey said that he's feeling really good, or he's feeling great, and that he might play against us. If Christian McCaffrey's playing, and the Eagles haven't somehow magically fixed their run defense woes, we're going to have a long day. It's going to be a long day. Teams don't want to, here's the thing. On offense, teams don't want to run the ball. Not in today's day and age. They don't necessarily want to run the ball. But, we have been playing well against the pass. And the thing is that they will run the ball, and that's all that they'll need to do. That's all that they'll need to do to beat us, to get down the field, because we can't stop it. And then it will wear our defense out. And that's the key to victory for any opposing team going up against the Philadelphia Eagles is play patiently on offense. Play patiently on offense, and then you'll get yours. You'll get your points. That's it. Jalen Hurts says, yeah, Panthers got some weapons. Hurts is going to have to just do some shootout kind of game. I don't think it's going to be a shootout, especially with Sam Darnold. And I know that Sam Darnold is playing well. I know that he's playing well for the Panthers, but I don't see this being a shootout. I could see this being I could see this being 24-10 Panthers, honestly. Or I could see it being actually not 24-10, maybe 24-17 Panthers. or I could see it being, the Eagles will have to shoot. The Eagles will have to shoot out to win because their defense is just so bad, or 31-24. You know what I mean? Something along those lines. Connor King says Eagles I thought would be much better as well. Hope you have been well. Thanks, Connor. I appreciate that, man. Welcome back to the chat. It's good to hear from you. I've been good. But yeah, man, like this defense. I mean, it's the defense. It's the defense. Like we knew, it's the defense and the penalties. It's the defense and the penalties. The penalties have to stop. They keep shooting themselves in the foot. We've had two wide receivers, Jalen Reagor and Devontae Smith, both step out of bounds on what would have been touchdowns this season in two different games. And that's just not something that I see very often. That's not something that I want to ever see again. As a matter of fact, that needs to stop now. I don't ever want to fucking see that ever again. Ever. Especially from a player like Devontae Smith. Especially from a player like Devontae Smith. But, we knew the offense was going to go through some growing pains. They came out in week 1 and were very diverse. We're very electric and we're very in sync. And, and in week 2, we played a really good San Francisco 49ers defense. I think people are underrating the defense in San Francisco. They have a really, really good defense in San Francisco. And then it was the Cowboys game, and then it was the Chiefs, so like, look, the defense hasn't been able to stop the run all season long. We were able to adjust in week 1. We were able to adjust a little bit in week 2, but eventually San Francisco 49ers were able to get it going towards the end. And then obviously with Zeke in week 3 and Tony Pollard in week 3. And then that was the blueprint. Be patient. Play offense patiently, and you will get your points. That is the keys to victory for any Eagles opponent right now. Connor King says, who is your most impressive team so far? I got to go with the Arizona Cardinals. They are the most impressive team right now. They really are. I think just the way that they completely beat down the Rams last week was absolutely phenomenal. It really was. But I want to see that team go through some adversity. You know what I mean? I want to see that team go through some adversity. They don't have to go through some adversity, but I would like to see how they respond to some adversity. An injury or something like that. I'm not saying I want that to happen, but I mean, hey, they're the only undefeated team left in the NFL, and they're playing like it, and they're playing great football right now. And Kyler Murray is definitely up there in if we were to do MVP votes right now, Kyler Murray would definitely be up there. Jalen Hurtsby says Panthers or Cardinals probably have to be the most impressive. Broncos and Raiders too. Yeah. No, those are all four of those teams actually. I mean, have really impressed. Honestly, have surprised me and my expectations. I had, before the season started, I had the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game, and I don't know. I can't say confidently that I still feel that way. Confidently, I don't feel that way, actually. But I do believe that there's a possibility that this is a great game for the Eagles if they want to turn things around. They are going to need to stop the losing streak at some point. Right now, they're sliding. They're sliding. And if Jalen Hurts, like I said, if Jalen Hurts can build on what he did against the Chiefs and continue to stay hot and play hot, the sky's the limit for him. Jalen Hurts me says, will Jalen Hurts ever be Kyler Murray like? I think there's a little bit of Kyler in Jalen Hurts' game. The thing about Kyler is he's faster, he's more agile, and so therefore, whenever watching Kyler Murray, he looks like Russ out there. You know what I mean? He looks like Russell Wilson out there just because of his speed. Here's what I think, and it's a noticeable thing, and I don't know if it's this or not, but sometimes on play action plays, I don't see a sense of urgency out of Jalen Hurts. You know, I don't see the quickness that you would normally see. The kind of like the quickness that we saw from Carson Wentz 2017. Like he was urgent. He played with a sense of urgency, on those play action plays. And that's what made it so amazing. Like he played with a sense of urgency on every single play. On the play action plays, I haven't seen a great sense of urgency from Jalen Hurts. However, I do think he'll get better at that. And I also think that, all of these things will develop in time. His accuracy, the chemistry that he builds with the wide receivers. There were some great throws that he made to Devontae Smith this past week against the Chiefs, and I'm hoping that builds. I don't know. To answer your question, I can't say that. Will he ever be like Kyler Murray? I don't know. It's a different type of weapon to deal with when you have Kyler Murray's speed. That's for sure. That is for sure. Well, let's just do a quick check-in. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. I am here with you guys on this Thursday night, and as we look to the game, as it is Thursday night, the Los Angeles Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks, just a quick update. The Rams are beating the Seattle Seahawks 23-17 with about 2 minutes left to go in the game. And I still think that the Rams are going to walk away with this one. But look, just jumping back to the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, I don't. It's hard to envision. It's hard to envision this team turning it around if they cannot fix the defense. If they cannot fix their ability to stop the run, then it's going to be a long season. You know what I mean? It's going to be a long season because it's like, I understand they don't want to give up the big plays, right? They don't want to give up the big plays, but I mean, if a team can run successfully against you, it's just going to wear your defense out. It's going to wear the defense out. And we saw that. We saw that with Chip Kelly when Billy Davis was the defense coordinator. You know what I mean? Like, it's that bad. It's that bad. And I'm not ready to blame it all on Jonathan Gannon, as a lot of people are. I'm not ready to do that. I don't think Jonathan Gannon has the player personnel to be able to run this scheme successfully. You know what I mean? And I think this is there. He was one of the hotter names as far as coaches are concerned on the market that was out there before we signed him to be our defense coordinator. So something's got to give. Something's got to give. And in that department, I gotta blame Howie a little bit. It's like, are you listening to these guys? Because there were a ton of reports saying that you weren't listening to Jim Schwartz in that final year or in the final 2 years, and getting the personnel that he needed. So look, this defense, it's playing with bare bones, honestly, in regards to what Jonathan Gannon wants from them. It really is. You don't have the linebackers. You kept seven linebackers on your roster. And what was the reason for that? Well, after thinking about it, it's because you run two different schemes. You run two different schemes. You have 3-4 and 4-3. You need your 3-4 and 4-3 linebacker and 4-3 linebackers, guys who would probably fit better in both schemes. And they mix match the linebackers. They play 6 linebackers. They rotate 6 linebackers on game day. What other team do you know that does that? 6. That's insane. That's insane. And I don't agree with that at all. But I think that the reason why they rotate 6 is because they don't have the linebacker that can run this scheme successfully. And that's why they need a field general. They need a field general at the linebacker position. That's what they need. A guy who can stop the run, a guy who's rangy, a guy who's good in pass coverage. All of those things. And it's annoying. And I'll tell you why it's annoying. Because the Eagles are going to have 3 first-round picks in the draft next year, and they're probably not going to take a linebacker. And that's okay. That's okay. But again, getting back to the fact that the defense is bare bones in regards to what he wants this scheme to be. They need a pass rusher. They need guys who are absolutely ferocious on the defensive line. Ferocious. Not above average. Derek Barnett and Josh Sweat, they're above average. They need ferocious guys. And you need linebackers who can cover and play the run really well in this scheme. That's it. But we're going to talk more throughout the week. And again, this is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It looks like the Rams have the ball now, and it looks like they're going to run out the clock. So you guys have a beautiful rest of your evening. Stay safe, stay healthy. One love. Go Birds, baby.